Welcome to the TED Ed Podcast, where we delve into the issues that shape our daily lives and drive our productivity. We confront topics that matter deeply to all of us, from healthcare and affirmative action to voting rights and monetary success and failure. We cover it all. And yes, we dive into the complex world of politics, exploring how our country has evolved from slavery to the 21st century. Our content is crafted with care and expertise, drawing from years of experience in these critical areas. We invite you to give the TED Ed podcast a listen. You won't be disappointed. Share your thoughts with friends and confidants, and don't forget to like, comment, and share our episodes. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more listeners. Are you passionate about these topics? Do you have unique insights to share? You could be one of our guest speakers. Drop us a line, send an email, or leave a comment. All requests will be considered. Join us on this journey of exploration and understanding. This is the TED Ed Podcast. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Well, here we are. I just threw those two words out there to see what you thought. I didn't want to put anything out there with it. I just wanted you to see it and think about it for a little bit. And why I sent you those two words? Because we are. I don't know if it was you or I or someone else, man. It's a lot of times I get folks that I, excuse me, that I talk to, I get them kind of screwed up and everything. And hopefully this happened with you and I and not someone else that I'm getting ready to say. I don't, someone asked about, or you said something about what nobody has heard anything from our president. And why is he so quiet after the election's over? And I also heard that he is not a very dumb person. He's been in politics for a real long time. And there are people out there who are very important to this country who were threatened. And my thoughts and stuff was that he could be thinking about them and being very quiet because he didn't want anyone to catch on to exactly what he was doing in his lame duck period here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas some of the other folks out there, they are moving forward with great speed and determination and their own way of how they want to get this thing and stuff going and get it off the ground. And also becoming very close friends with some very unscrupulous individuals and stuff out there. They've also, in their threats and everything, they were talking about the enemies within.
Yes.
And there are some people out there who were very important who may become a target for what's going on and what they have done and what they did earlier in this process. And I'm hoping that his focus and stuff now quietly is on trying to protect them in some kind of way. That's why I gave you those two words.
Well, you know what comes to mind? There's a scripture in Matthew, and Jesus was talking about lawlessness. Now, the thing is, I was just looking up the definition of lawlessness, but here's the thing they say, here's another way of looking at it: a state in which there is widespread wrongdoing and disregard for rules and authority. The Western frontier was notorious for its lawlessness, anarchy, chaos, unrest, and misrule. Now, are we in the stage of lawlessness now? Is that what stage we're in now? Because when you say shadow government and the enemy within, to me, that's regarding that's lawlessness. Because these people are doing things behind underseas and doing things to people, coming at people, and it's not in a good way, it's a negative way. Not to improve, but to tear down in little minute ways that discourage people. They call people and threaten to bomb them. They're constantly doing that. They threaten their lives, their children's lives. And there's a lot of these people that's doing that. Now, are these really Americans? I don't think so. They might be Americans, but they're not really Americans. They've probably been here for, a few years. They became Americans, citizens, I should say. But they're probably, and we know that there are hundreds, even thousands of sales of people that's coming against this country. All around the country, there's different sales and groups of people. The thing is that unfortunate people is easily to be influenced and manipulated because they can send propaganda, misinformation. So, yeah, the shadow government is working really good, and it's been doing a great job because when you don't teach people basic civics and they're not engaged in their political arena, and I don't mean just running for office and all that, I'm just talking about just knowing what's going on as a citizen. So, yeah, the shadow government is strong, bro. Real strong. And what that is evil. That's my take.
uh, I had a little bit of a different take on that, and I was glad that you said what you just said here, that sometimes people will put things out there and say some things, and how you meant it to be isn't what they thought it would be. And I see that what you saying and stuff and everything is totally different than what I was thinking, which is okay because in essence, I guess you're right. Uh, there are probably a lot of shadow things going on around here that we have no idea about. And they all could be a part and stuff of our government. My thing was that and the reason why I'm saying this is that I talked with this young guy. I know he used to be one of my football players. He's in his he's getting to get into his 50s and stuff now. He's been around for a while, and he said something to me that kind of shook me up. I couldn't believe that he had said that. And what he said was, and I had gave him my take on what was going on, why I was feeling so apprehensive about what's going on in this country, and giving him some really, really detailed information as to what has been going on and how it is going to affect us and stuff in the long run. How we're going to be, in a way, an isolated country because of what's going on, and that our political and our all the other ambitions that we have as far as a democratic society and everything is being thrown out the window when you start becoming friends and stuff with this country's enemies, or friends with people and everything who have taken a supposedly a democratic process and everything and turned it into a slash dictatorship. So I'll always go with that thing that birds of a feather always flock together. So if you ain't thinking about what that other person is doing, you're not going to be sitting over there having conversation with them and drinking tea and all this other stuff with them and everything, because they evidently you must think like them if you over there doing that. So you have other friends over here that are trying to befriend you, and you study throwing them off. Then your friends and stuff are going to say, "Hey, I'm gonna have to leave this fella alone." But he said something that really shook me up. He said those 60 or 70 million folks and stuff who voted for him were afraid. He said, Mr. Bishop, they are afraid. They have fear. They fear what's going on. And I couldn't fathom why he said that and why he said that. And he was trying to tell me, well, the reason why they didn't vote for her was the same reason that they threw Lyndon Johnson out of power in 1968. And I said, hey, fella, you wasn't even born then. So how do you know what the heck happened in 1968? I said, I was living here on this earth then when that happened. And that ain't why they told Lyndon Johnson and didn't let him, and he didn't run for reelection. That is not why. Well, the historian said that. I said, well, they don't know what they're talking about because they're speaking and stuff for something that happened in the past that they don't know anything about. I said, I was sitting there and I was listening to it. And the man, and the reason why they didn't do that is because he said if he signs this legislation, that it was going to divide the North and the South again, because he thought it was fair and stuff and everything for the pass the Civil Rights Act, that it was long overdue, that it was necessary, even though he was from Texas. And he said, I know that this is going to do it, but I have to do it anyway so we can keep our country together. Because as you know, at that time, we were having all kinds of stuff going on. There was rioting going
Riots for
on.
days.
There was all kinds of stuff going on with our community. So he's trying to tell me that because of what happened in 1968 is why these folks and stuff, these white folks, decided that they wanted to put this man in office in 2024. And I had to really got upset with him. Said, man, I'm tired. I'm not going to talk to you no more because you have no idea what you were talking about. And I was very angry, Ted, very angry at him. We got to a point and everything. I said, I'm sorry, Mr. Bishop, I didn't mean to get you all upset and everything. I said, I am, because you don't know what you're talking about. Well, why do you think people were afraid and everything? And that's why they killed Kennedy. I said, you don't know what you're talking about. That ain't why he killed Kennedy. He got killed.
Oh, Lord.
I said, man, you giving these folks a pass because they are racist. You cannot do that. And I said, there is going to be some things going on. Well, My generation thinks that we ought to just wait and give him a chance. I said, man, you don't give no bully a chance to beat you up.
You got to hit him in the head before he hit you.
Man, you gonna sit there and wait until this man come up there and knock you upside your head, and then you gonna say, "Oh, he done hit me." What he said was true. I said, man, I'm sure glad that I'm not part of your generation and stuff, because if that's how you guys thinking now, we in trouble. I said, we in trouble. He said, but Mr. Bishop, I know what you're talking about, and I know what he said, but maybe we ought to give him a chance. I said, I hope you have that same sentiment when this man comes up there and he destroys this country. And I said, we are a couple of inches away from getting that to happen. I said, we are trusted as the biggest nation in the world. And I said, we are trusted and stuff because people value where we are. I said, but we are headed to a point. If our debt gets any daggone higher and stuff, I said, we're going to be no more than a third world country. I said, when your debt start costing you more than what you're bringing in, we're in trouble. And
Well,
I said,
that's already happening.
I said we are headed there because we cannot depend on the good faith and judgment that they have that they happen in the U.S. dollar. I said the dollar is very, very strong out there now. I said if we continue to go on there, our dollar going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and we're going to be just like them folks in Africa. We're going to be sitting around here trying to figure out how we're going to stay alive in there. And I said this man does not care. If he continues to enact that daggone tax cut that he gave to those corporations so they are not paying their fair share into this daggone economy, we're going to be in trouble. We already headed that way. And he's sitting up in there because he is not the boss. Those billionaires and those other leaders and stuff out there in this world are telling him what the heck to do. I said, he is in their pocket, and we know what the heck going on. I said, if this man's sitting in their pocket, we in trouble because they don't tell him what to do. Now he can do some things, but they're telling him what the heck he better do, and he is going to do it. I said, October of last year, Israel attacked the West Bank because they took all those prisoners. And I said, since then, Bibi has been bombing the crap out of them people all the time. He's bombing the crap. November the 5th, he stopped. He ain't attacking Iran like he started out doing. He's sitting there. We are November the 11th, 6 days past the election. And so he quiet as a rat peeing on cotton because he's surrounded by his enemies. And he knows Putin got him. He got him. I said, young man, you need to go back and read your history. I said, back in 2009, they started this coalition called BRIC. And right now, they're trying to include our Saudi Arabia into their BRIC. And Saudi Arabia hasn't came over yet, but they have a heck of a coalition over there, and Iran is a part of that coalition. And Bibi better watch out. And I said, if I'm in the European Union, if I'm in Canada or Israel or any of them other countries and stuff that's sitting out there, we have completely stopped sharing our intelligence with the United States.
Okay, I'm gonna switch gears here.
Go ahead.
Taxation without representation. It ain't what you think.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, I don't know if you remember this, but I do, because I was in California at the time.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that Reagan forgave Mexico, Argentina, Brazil debt. The Federal Reserve Treasury relief package to avoid dominant effect on the U.S. banks. So what they did was they forgave their loans, billions of dollars. 1984, $4 billion federal dollars Treasury, FDIC rescued a package for the Continental Illinois Bank aid. 1980, discount window bailouts. 1987, post stock market dive rescue, billions of dollars. 1989 and 92, the SNL loan bailout, 250 billion. Citibank, 1992, 4 billion. Then 94, 95, they rescued the peso again. 97, the Asian currency bailout. That was in 87.
Mm-hmm.
And 1998, long-term capital management bailout. These are billions of dollars, bro. They gave all this money away to all these countries. In 2007, of course, the structure investment vehicle and subprime mortgage bailouts. 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all of these billions of dollars calculate probably well over $1 trillion. That's when money was real. The dollar was much stronger then. And think about it. No investments to the people. These are billions of dollars that were spent to other countries, majority of it, and bailing out these banks and savings and loans. But no rescue or investments in our community. That's what I call taxation without representation. We got bridges falling apart, railroad tracks falling apart. We have infrastructure that needs to be updated. We have communities that need to be rebuilt. And then during the 80s, of course, is when they first started transferring those manufacturing companies to overseas. So what exactly is going on, bro? What exactly is going on? What somebody decided, and this is just my opinion, that we're going to be an entertainment and tourism country, and also make our money on finances, the stock market. That's what they decided. Because if you look at this is the thing that I really want to get to. In 2024, we had the highest record ever in September of almost 169 million employed. 2024, September. But yet still they're saying, oh, we're doing so bad. What's wrong? What's the matter? Blah, blah, blah. The average that during the Biden administration was 161 million employed. Now look at this, Ed. At least 35 to 45 million people are retired or on Social Security. 25 to 30 million people are undocumented in this country. Now, out of that group of people that's working, there are 16 million self-employed. So we have 16 million people that's self-employed. I think it's larger than that though. But I was looking at the breakdown of, the class system. And the class system now is, if you're in the 10%, there's 16 million of these people total, and the 1%ers included. The 10%ers is $162,000 a year. So if you're not making over $160,000, you're not part of the 10%ers. The 1% is anywhere between 450 to 1 million. Now, we're talking, you said 16, you got at least 20 million people that have most of the wealth. So the thing is that, all of these games, as far as they're playing with us, as far as the employment, unemployment, all of that, that's just make-up stuff. Because people are going to work and find a job, but you got to put money out there, availability, so it can grow. But if your money is just going to be stocked up to make more money, then it's not going to grow. That's the reason why I was talking about these virtual capitalists. They're trying to buoy up more businesses. So in my mind, when you got all of these things, and that's just half of the stuff I'm talking about. It's a lot more money that they have doled out instead of investing in the people. And I'll go back to the VP. This was her goal. This was one of her goals, to buoy up the American people. One of the goals of the Biden administration, infrastructure, access to the web, the internet. These were the goals. To start businesses. What are the American people thinking about? I don't get it, bro. And then the first thing they want to come out, where's she gonna get the money? Where's she gonna get the money to do all this? She gonna raise taxes. That's what she gonna do. That's what she was gonna do. She was gonna raise taxes from 21 to 28%.
And end that 2017 tax cut.
That's right. So I don't know what the American people was thinking about. She was for them. They're not going to be for you. That's the bottom line, bro. And you think it's going to be a lot of people going to be making some money. Now, during the Republican administration, there's going to be opportunities where you can make money. So you better put on your top hat. You better get creative, because you got some of these people looking for handouts. Where's my stimulus check? You're going to get a stimulus check, all right.
Well, Ted, and to you folks out there who are listening, who will be looking at the program, I have always been proactive. And my suggestion to each and every one of you, not to do what my young football player says that he was going to do. He's going to sit back and wait. I don't think I'm going to be sitting back and waiting. I'm going to start being proactive here and get ready to start doing what I need to do and everything to make sure that my family and stuff is going to be okay. So if Man, I'm just looking down this barrel here and everything, and that's getting ready to get shot at us and everything. And I'm seeing folks out there who probably are thinking just like my football player. Well, it's okay. Maybe it ain't gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, right.
So we uh we just I'm gonna be aware of what they're going on. I'll be watching exactly what's going on and who's doing what. Now he did say one thing, and that I was also thinking myself in the early part, right after November the 5th and everything. I'm saying to myself that it's going to take some time to let them enact with what's going on. And you always try to look at what the heck's going on, and I kind of revert back to 2016 and stuff when he first came into power, and he did what the heck he did. Now he did go out and start messing with some of his enemies that he thought was his enemies, and he did a pretty good job. That U.S. attorney and stuff and everything, he really wrecked that old boy over the coals and stuff and everything, caused him to lose his pension and everything. But eventually he got his money and stuff back. But being without money to take care of your family for almost 2 years and stuff until you fought this stuff through the court systems and everything before you became made whole, it really hurts. And a lot of us can't do that. So the point I was trying to make is that they was like herding cats and stuff there. They couldn't get, other than that tax cut, those Republicans couldn't get themselves together to do anything. So maybe that's what's going to happen this time. They're going to be so disruptive and everything, and they're not going to be able to get a damn thing done. They're going to try, but they're not getting anything done. But the damage that could happen and everything is still going to be extensive, just like you just said. They can screw up their court system and stuff real bad, putting those judges and stuff in. That's going to hurt. When you can't go to the court system to get justice, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll let those folks get out there and do their job. Hopefully, our representative will do their job. Hopefully, we can get out there and start preparing ourselves for uh, coming together with like-minded folks, and we can be able to do something. Just like yesterday when we talked about having those black venture capitalists and everything, changing how they are doing business and stuff out there with giving people money and stuff. Take that money and put it into the school system so they can continue to bring those school systems up. Maybe we're going to have some improvements and stuff going on. Hopefully, we shall see. I got to be hopeful, Ted. I'm telling you, I still got to be hopeful. I got to get out of this valley. I'm crawling out. I'm crawling out of that valley, and I'm getting up here and being hopeful.
Well, there's a lot of people, you're mentally strong and you'll get through it. But there's a lot of people out there they're miserable, bro.
I know they are.
It's a lot of people that's miserable. It's a lot of people that's out there that's don't know what's going to happen. I'm hearing a lot of people are looking for other places to go, to other countries. A lot of people are just concerned of what's going to happen to their kids and grandkids. A lot of people are concerned what's going to happen to their health. All kinds of things that are out there that he put out there and other people are putting out there. When you have an ex person, what do they call those people who was the head of ICE? He said the first thing he gonna do is round them up. He said the first 3 weeks we gonna round them up.
Mm-hmm.
and get them out of here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And nobody is stopping them. Nobody even saying, no, don't do that.
And can nobody stop them? Police can't
Silence,
stop them.
silence is consent. If you don't say, if nobody opened their mouth and said this is wrong,
They can say it's wrong, but what they gonna do? What can they
but
do?
at least somebody can put up some opposition saying, why are you doing this to these people? And the only thing he got to say is they're here illegal, they're criminals. Well, who, and as I told my football player, I said, man, in the state of California, those people are crossing the borders and they're walking up into that Northern California breadbasket, Sonoma County, up in that area up in there. I rode the train through it, and there's miles and miles and miles and miles of fields and stuff with vegetables and all kind of stuff that these people are out there picking. In Florida, they got these folks who travel over there to Florida and they out there in them orange groves and other
Strawberry
groves
fields.
out there. Then they out there and they picking that stuff and everything and get it up there and they put it into uh, crates and boxes and stuff and everything, doing something that ain't no other these folks and stuff gonna be doing in this country. And they shipping that stuff out of Florida on these trucks and stuff constantly. Every daggone day, there's trucks and trucks and trucks flowing out. Here in Georgia, I can look down there into the lower part of this state and stuff and everything. They got these peanut farms, they got these peach farms, they got all kind of farm stuff going on down here, and these people are picking this stuff and everything. Ain't nobody doing that. I say, I look at my community and stuff right here. Every house that's being built, every daggone ditch that's being dug, every hole that's being dug, them folks is out there doing it. And they're using them people as cheap labor.
I was looking up this morning about the green card. You know how the green card works? The green
Mm,
card is a very difficult thing to even get. And some of these people been here for 10 years on a green card.
mm-hmm,
They're not even citizens.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of them have built, have homes and car loans and
Mm-hmm.
you name it. Got children going to school, children
Absolutely.
been born here and
Yep.
everything.
Absolutely.
And
I've
all they
seen
got
them.
is a green card.
I've seen them.
Hundreds of thousands of them, millions, I
Yes,
would
sir.
say.
Our millions. They're out here and they're doing all that work that nobody else wants to do. Nobody
So
wants to
I don't
do.
know. I don't know what their plan is, but they already said that it's going to cost the government billions of dollars.
They're
And you
gonna
got
pay
so
it.
many
They're gonna
undocumented.
they're gonna pay it. They're gonna pay it. Because he said that they're letting the criminals in. They're coming across the border and they're criminals. They're raping our women, which is it happened, but it's maybe only one or two of them. The rest of them, they coming across here and doing the right thing. Get rid of the ones who are doing the bad things, okay, and leave the other ones alone. We are a country of immigrants. So you saying that they can't come here? We got to have somebody to pick the food. We got to have somebody to pick the grapes. We got to have somebody to dig the holes. Oh, I don't know, man. I think that come January the 20th, when all this stuff's supposed to happen, when the old Biden leaves out and the other guy comes in to take over, we're going to have to be very watchful and stuff as to what he keep doing every minute of the day. have to watch them. And that's where I was talking about in the beginning when I said those two words. Somebody better be up there watching and letting the folks know what's getting ready to happen.
Because he's not going to tell you.
He's not going to tell you. He's not going to tell you who he's sneaking and talking with. He's getting the intelligence and stuff from the CIA and national security advisors and stuff. They got to give him the intelligence. And he's going to turn around and send it right over there to Russia.
And he has billions of dollars to work with that he can dole out wherever he wants to.
Wherever he wants. But we have an advantage. We have a stick. And I don't know if we're going to use it or not, but we got a stick.
And pray tell, what is that stick, Ed?
Ted, I'm a man of power. I believe in power, wielding my power. What's the most powerfulest thing that you can wield? Money. Money.
Money.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with the money?
Who's got the money? Who's got the money?
Well, the government got the money, that's for sure.
No, they don't. They got some debt that they can get passed out. All them checks that's coming out is debt payments, man. They paying debt. They ain't bringing in that much money. They are nowhere near bringing in as much money as they're doling out, and you know that.
Well, you think these billionaires and billionaires going to be giving up some of their money?
No.
Well, I know you ain't talking about the average person, the people.
No.
Well, you got me, bro.
I know it. I know I got you. I got everybody. Who has the biggest economy in this country?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
The biggest economy in this country, in my mind, now I'm talking about black people, we're 2 trillion strong.
Okay.
And then Latinos are almost 3 trillion strong.
Okay. That's chop change. Go ahead.
California
is the 6th largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. They got a lot of money.
New York is up there too.
They got a lot of money. Both of them are ran by who?
Democratic governors.
Democratic governors. I ain't gonna say nothing else. All right, people. All right, people. We're gonna continue our show. What else, Ted, you got to say here?
Well, I'm pretty much done. I had 2 segments.
You had 2 things there? Man, we got a whole lot of stuff, man, we got to talk about here. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the power that the Supreme Court has. Where does it come from?
The Constitution.
Okay. Any other power they got? How are they going to enact their power? How are they going to, if you turn out a decision and stuff, how powerful is that decision? If somebody says, I don't care what you say, I'm not going to do it. What power do they have to tell somebody that they better do it?
they don't really have power. Only people that can follow that power is those governors, and some of those governors can say we're not going to do it.
Absolutely. If they don't trust you, where your power going to come from? They don't have any power. They don't control no money. They don't control the purse string. People that control the purse string is what? The legislative branch of the government. Now, you might be sitting here thinking that I'm talking about anarchy, but I'm not. I'm talking about will and power. Okay, the next thing I want to say something about is the legislative branch of government. Where did their power come from?
Their power is supposed to come from the people.
Come from people. And every 2 years, they are voted into office. And so far, those Republicans have been able to control the House for a little bit, right?
Yep.
They're going to control it at this time.
Yep.
If they win those other 15 seats,
I don't know. There's some of them they say still is up
they're
for
still
grabs.
still up for grabs. They're still up for grabs. It's still up for grabs. They still trying to figure out if they're going to win these 15 seats. Right now, it's tied. They still got them 15 seats they got to decide. Then we'll see what's going to happen. If it's close, if they only got them 2 or 3 people who are in power there in Carolina, I don't know if they're going to be able to govern at all. Okay. You mentioned the wealth in this country. Right? These
Hmm.
billionaires, that you said 10%. I believe it's 5%. What you saying is 10%. 10% of all people in this country control the bulk of the wealth. True?
That's right.
10%. And you're saying that anybody who makes less than $160,000, they don't matter. Or
Well, they below the what we call is you got the 1%, you got the 10%ers, and then you got everybody else.
and that's how big of that pie is that? That's what you got, what, 10, 1, and what else you say?
You got the 10 and the 1%ers. The one
That's
percenters are the ones that
11%.
control.
So that's
The 10% control about 40%. They make more money than 40% of the population.
and the other 1% takes care of the rest.
Yeah.
So that means 89% of this country don't make $100,000 a year. Is that what you're saying?
No, because there are people that make 115, 120, and things like that. But what they did is they put it in a category because really, to me, if you're not making 160,000, you're not middle class. Because really, that's what middle class is, about 160,000 now.
And what percentage of the country is that?
That's 10%.
10%.
I mean, they go up 200, 250, 300. But when you're in the one percenters, that's the $1 million class.
You mean the $1 billion class?
$1 million class, I know.
Billion, to be
Well, there are
1%.
billionaires in that category, but you got people that's making a million or more, and they got 150 million, 200 million, 300 million,
Okay, so
and they
you have.
might be making $10 million a year,
I'm trying to figure out
but
what
they're not
percentage.
billionaires.
I'm trying to figure out then what percentage of this country is are we going to classify as the low? Are they lower middle class or are they just poor people?
Anybody that's not making over $160,000, if you're making, it depends on your lifestyle too and where you're living in each part of the country, because certain uh, conditions are different in different parts. So if you're making 160,000 in California, you're just an average blow Joe. If
Okay.
you're making that in New York, the same thing.
Okay. So anyone outside of those two states, if they're making $160,000, they're in the
10%
middle.
of it.
They're in the 10%.
Yeah.
Okay. So depending on where you live at and how much you make is where you fit into that scale you're talking about.
Yeah.
So anyone who makes less than $160,000 in the state of California is poor.
That don't make them poor, Ed. That makes them, because you got a lot of people that's making that, household incomes making that kind of money. However, they live frugal and they can pay their bills. They're not in debt. They got money saved and that kind of thing. Unless they overspend. You remember that 730, that 70-30 deal I was telling you about. If they're living below, so like let's say they bought a house 20 years ago and now that house is worth $2 million.
Okay.
So
So
and they making over 160,000 household income, and their house is basically paid for, and it's
and they
worth $2
and
million.
it's worth $2 million, then they
Yeah,
got a lot of money sitting there that they
yeah.
can disposable income that they can use to
If they wanted
offset
to, yeah.
if they wanted to.
And we already see the numbers. 34% of Americans got their houses paid for.
34% got their houses paid for. Okay. So what we're talking about is that depending on your generational wealth, you could be still okay making less than $160,000.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay. Even in New York and California.
definitely.
Okay.
Where
You understand?
poverty comes, what they say poverty is, there are 40 million people that live under the poverty line. 40 million. They
So
make anywhere between 25 to $35,000.
so if we had to break that what you just said down into one paragraph and we talking to the people who are viewing to this this podcast, what would you tell them at this point in time about their wealth?
Which ones?
Doesn't matter. Anyone out there who's sitting there.
Well, if you're below the poverty line and you voted for Trump, a lot of your benefits is going to go away. Because, like, if you're getting, to subsidize your income
Mm-hmm.
that you're working in, some people get food stamps because they're making less.
Mm-hmm.
So, therefore, they qualify for some food stamps, which helps out feeding their kids or whatever.
Okay.
And then some people even qualify for help in their electric bill or their whatever kind of, they might even get subsidized housing, what they call it, I forget
Section
the
8.
name.
Section
Section
8.
8 housing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're getting Section 8 housing, some people only pay $200 a month for a nice 3-bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the government pays for the rest.
So those folks and stuff, once this gentleman and stuff, well, once this criminal gets in, if he does not do anything about the farm bill and SNAP, they can consider themselves to be in big trouble.
Big trouble.
And then if he goes to the Department of Housing and Urban Development and then starts cutting into Section 8.
Hey, he had, when Carson was in charge, he had already cut $7 billion out the budget.
Who?
When Carson was in charge, He cut $7 billion out the budget of Hood.
Cars. Oh, you mean his Secretary of Housing and Urban Development?
Yeah.
Yeah, the secretary. Okay, but he's not in charge now no more. So I'm just saying, when he gets in, what will our viewers and stuff have to look at? What do they need to see?
Oh, he gonna cut. Hey, HUD is almost gonna be gone, bro.
Well,
He gonna
do
cut.
we
He
know
gonna
that?
cut that to smithereens.
Do we know it's going to be gone?
I didn't say gone. I said he gonna cut. I don't know. He might eliminate HUD altogether.
But to do that, then he's going to have to get Congress to say, okay, this is what he's going to do. He can present the budget to him, but Congress has to be the one that's going to say yay or nay.
Well, here's Section 2025 said about HUD. These people will have to find a job. A lot of them already work, but that's what they claim. You're gonna have to qualify, really qualify, to even sustain yourself in the situation you're in. And there are people, hundreds, thousands, I dare say, maybe a couple of million, that's already trying to get in HUD.
So what part of 2025 can he enact or have an effect upon by himself?
Oh, he's gonna put his people in there.
That doesn't mean that they're going to be able to do that, because
But they can control the money.
They don't control the money.
They will control the money because the money goes to them.
But they don't control the money. They're not the one who authorized the money to be spent. The legislative branch of the government decides about what they want to do.
But they direct the money where it's supposed to go.
I'm still saying that the legislative branch of the government decides the money to be spent. The executive branch and everything does what?
Well, Ed, let me just explain it to you. Let me tell you how it works, bro. This is how it is. They have assistants, secretaries, and usually it's about 7 to 10 of them that's over every different parts of the country, district. And they are in control of who gets the money in certain areas.
They've been doing that for a long time, Ted. So we haven't
But
lost.
think about what they're gonna do.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they said they're going to do. What matters and stuff is that will the legislative branch of the government allow them to take the money and do that? Because if you deny them the money to do what they're talking about doing, then they can say whatever they want to say. But if the legislative branch of the government does not vote this stuff in and say it's okay, because those are the people, then they can't. Yes, they can direct it once the money comes to them, but the money has to get to them. So if they send the money to them, then they can direct where that money is going to be going to. And you're right, it can go to the people out in the red country, and then the people in the blue stuff say, hey, they're going to say, well, we ain't going to give the money to the people in the blue. Correct? Okay. So then the people in the blue are going to say, oh, you ain't going to give me my money? What are the blue folks going to do?
Ain't nothing they can do.
Yes, they can.
What?
What did I just tell you?
They're going to sue?
What did I just tell you? What did I just tell you?
I don't know what you're talking about. Because
who has the largest economy in this country?
Well, what you think? You think California is not going to send the federal money to them? New York not going to send the federal money to them? Illinois is not going to send that federal money to them? Now you're talking insurrection.
But sometimes you're going to have to get a stick That's your stick. There you go. Hey, okay, drop it off right here. You better drop it off right here. 'Cause my people ain't gonna give you their money, and they ain't gonna get it back. Anyway, Ted,
What did you say? What
we
did
at
you say?
we
What
at
did
the
you
end.
say?
We at
Wait a
the
minute.
end.
What did you say? You said that the government is like a big ship,
Yep.
and it's just a slow turn.
Yes, it is.
This
Yes,
is a
it is.
battle. This is gonna be a battle, bro.
A battle, and it can be a battle.
This is gonna be.
He ain't very smart. Now it can be a battle. He
This is
doesn't know
what
what
I
he's
call
getting into.
lawlessness.
Ah.
At the beginning of the show, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Chaos.
Oh. Oh.
Lawlessness, bro.
Ted, how if
Anarchy.
anybody
Chaos.
got any sparks and stuff and everything, you have to wield your power. You got to wield your power. Somebody gonna try to take something, I'm gonna wield my power. Now, if you do right, everything gonna be fine. If you give my people what they did, because I can't be their leader, their governor, and you don't get half of what you just sent.
You distribute into those other countries, other states that can't even afford what they got.
Absolutely. They're already doing that now.
They've
But they're
been
not
doing it.
saying, anything, because when the legislative branch put forth whatever it is, then they go and reach into their little pie and said, okay, give me my little piece here, and they take their little piece out and put it back into their state government. Okay? But when you telling them, I don't care what you said, even though you are deserved 30%, I'm not going to give you 30%. I'm not going to give you anything. Or I'm only going to give you 2%. And you done put 30 or 40% in the pie? That doesn't work very well. So you telling my people, then they done took their hard-earned money and put it in the pie, and they can't get back what they do? Something wrong. What you gonna do? You want me to keep my money and then give you your part? You got a stick.
This right here is gonna be a mess, bro.
That's what I'm saying, Ted. It's gonna be hard for him to enact all that stuff and everything. It's a shame that we have to resort to those things and stuff and everything. But sometimes people force you to stuff to do that because they're a bully. You have to teach a bully. My mother told me all the time, so you see a bully out there, you get ready to come at you, you knock him in the head quick before he get you. Anyway, we are done, Ted. We are at the end of our show here. I enjoyed myself. What's your final word?
Hey, let's keep track. Let's stay engaged. That's all I gotta say. Keep track and stay engaged.
Oh, I'm just sitting there laughing, Ted, because
stop watching TV and learn something.
Yeah, yes, I'm sitting here and everything, understanding that the norm is no longer the norm. So if you're saying that you're going to treat this differently and everything, then when you start telling someone that I'm going to treat you differently, what makes you think that they aren't going to treat you differently?
Well, we'll see.
We will see if they got the balls. If I want to stay the governor of my state, I better open my mouth and say something if my people ain't getting what they want to get. So that's why I ask you, what power does a Supreme Court have other than saying, I'm going to pass down this law? If someone says, I don't care, I'm not going to follow what you just sent down, which if we look back, has already happened one
There you
time
go.
before down in Alabama. Them
Yes.
folks said, we ain't going to go by that. And what did the Supreme Court do? They went back and reneged on the stuff and everything and gave Alabama what they wanted.
There you go. Sure did. Sure did. There it is right there.
There it is. All right, people. We are doing our thing here on the money connection. We connected the money. We connected the money. Talk to you folks later. Bye.